at the J. Vibe blowing at the J. Got the loud jumping at the bag. Everything I'm on slack. Everything I do is got the band jumping at the bag. Vibe blowing at my J. Got the loud jumping at the bag. Everything I'm on slack. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Another milestone, look at that. Paper boy, I'm a paper route till I'm 6 down on my back. I'm an old soul like my dad. My old girl still a fan. And yo girl at the live show, so don't act like I ain't the man. I'm kicking my feet up, get frank like Aretha. I'm calm but I'm teed up, just flip me a stack. The re-up just doubled up off of the muscle, I stuck to the task. They see me, I'm troubled, I'm bubbling up till it's stuck. And they want me to stay where I'm at. I'm good everywhere that I'm stepping, my presence is crucial. You know that this shit not no trend. On a big wave, I'm controlling the tides. Snake eyes when you rolling the dice. So with the stakes inside, I could never take another nigga advice. They can't reach the sky, I'm aiming up high. Just wanna know what it's like. Y'all know what it's like, I come from outside of this. Out the quicksand, I'm the big man, doing big things. Cop a big change, up a state lines, doing stage dives on cam. Get my good side. It ain't no limit to my vision. Check the temp, I'm on fire with it. Got the band jumping out the bag, Prosecco on ice. I'm nobody nice. Go run up a check, demand my respect. I'm doing the most, I never quit. They want me to quit. I'm good as it come, I'm good as it gets. Vibe blowing at the J, got the loud jumping out the bag. Everything I'm on slack. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Vibe blowing at my J, got the loud jumping out the bag. Everything I'm on slack. Everything I do is got the band jumping out the bag. Vibe blowing at the J.
She might be what I need. She get spicy, want taste test, come bite me. Yeah, I'm icy, way too icy. I get paper, my big screen, I'm spiky. I'm vibing, vibing. Too wavy, I could tell they wanna get like me. Timid straight shooter, I'm dumping the clip that I'm dipping. Hitting the mark with the weightiest art. I rage with my heart and it's right with my wrists. Cut up the pay with the real ones. I see a few million, we want it, we need it, let's get it. Long live the niggas that get it, they live how they say it. A sentence, we really the trillest. Please don't pretend with that love that you send it is fuck if you like me, I call me the Bennett. Somebody tell God forgive me, I'm sinning. I think that she know, but he got me, I'm winning. Cloud is a dangerous drug and your phone is the plug. Everybody on that shit pretending. So many lost and they chasing what's trending. Boy, yeah, let's forget it, I'm back to my senses. I'm only helping a man in the mirror. From here on I'm open, I'm focused. Okay, I lied if you riding, I'm riding. I put on the pokes and trusting me. Get with it, come fuck with me. I don't, but it's love, you stuck with me. I'm coming in clutch for me. Get with it, they get lost, ain't nobody touching me, yeah. She like me, she might be what I need. She get spicy, want taste test, come bite me. Yeah, I'm icy, way too icy. I get paper, I'm big screen, I'm spiky. vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, and see they won't get like me. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, come and get like me. She like me, she might be what I need. Too icy, way too icy. I get paper, a big screen, I'm spiky. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, I can tell they wanna get like me. I'm vibey, just vibey. Too wavy, come and get like me.
Before you tell me that I've changed a lot, take a minute to consider a lot has changed me.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay and everything looks good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things are looking bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early. All right. Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. What's good with the AB? Shout out to Tedra. What's good with the Tedra? Shout out to Jacoby. What's good with the Jacoby? And shout out to everyone everywhere who has not put anything in the chat yet. It is good to see each and every one of you. All right. So we're going to try to run through this as quick as possible. As usual, a lot of information, not a lot of time. All right. So we're going to try to bust this out real quick. All right. How many people have heard about all of these sanctuary states and Democrat areas that are suing Trump over the new quote unquote immigration policies, the new quote unquote mass deportation policies? If you guys have heard, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man AB. AB said it's not letting me click on the target. You guys see they trying to hate, man. Throw some targets in the chat. Throw some targets in the chat. Somebody hit that target for AB. So one of the first things that we're going to talk about is the recall effort in Chicago to get rid of your boy Brandon Johnson. All right, so let's check this out real quick.
A new move to recall Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. The first attempt, you may remember, came from a Chicago resident, an average citizen. But this next one comes from Springfield. NBC5's Chelova Chahusky got the mayor's reaction to this today.
As he joined a cavalcade of public officials welcoming a $1.9 billion federal investment in the CTA's Red Line extension, Mayor Brandon Johnson brushed off what have been increasing calls for him to be recalled.
Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people think that Brandon Johnson should be recalled? If you guys think that Brandon Johnson has earned a recall, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you guys do not think that Brandon Johnson should be recalled and you guys think that he's doing a great job as the mayor of Chicago, throw some clown faces in the chat.
As you know, people introducing legislation, that's their job to do that.
Late Thursday night, Representatives Anthony DeLuca and LaShawn Ford introduced HB 1084, calling for a clear and effective process to conduct recall elections in cities like Chicago.
People are asking for it. It's not something that I thought of myself. It's something that constituents asked for in 2015 after the Laquan McDonald's tape was released.
At the time, Ford's bill, which he has introduced every year since, was aimed at Mayor Rahm Emanuel. There is already a grassroots effort underway to collect the more than 56,000 signatures necessary to force a recall. The man behind that movement is Dan Bolin.
Every date that the mayor is in office is a master class in why a Chicago mayoral recall mechanism is needed.
The mayor's office is still reeling out.
Oh, now, do you guys agree with that? How many people agree with that?
After questions were raised about his status as an on-leave member of the Chicago Teachers Union and his involvement in contract talks, as well as criticism from the governor's office about his relationship with Springfield.
The good thing about the work that we do in the city of Chicago, a perception of one individual doesn't define the entire city of Chicago. I will say this, though, the city of Chicago has gotten better, stronger, and safer.
In Pullman, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC5 News.
Thanks to Charlie.
Now, is that true, what Brandon Johnson is saying? Shout out to my man, Jay. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. He was finally able to hit that target. Throw some targets. Throw some targets in the chat for AB. All right, that's what's good. We 1 out of 10. That's what's good. Shout out to AB. AB says, no worries. I'm still going to make my peoples great. Hey, if you about making your peoples great, throw some flames in the chat. Shout out to you, bro. Let me hit this drop for you real quick. I definitely appreciate you funding the organization. Let's go. If I could find it, if I could find the drop. All right, there we go.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
All right, yeah, there we go. Definitely appreciate you, bro. All right, so as that's going on in Chicago, right, you got something different going on in New York. All right, New York, big city of dreams. You know what I'm saying? Mayor Eric Adams meets with Trump in Florida, all right? Adams' office announced the mayor's plan in a statement on Thursday, saying a partnership is crucial to New York City's success. All right. So now here says Mayor Eric Adams met with President-elect Donald Trump in Florida on Friday, according to City Hall officials. Adams' office announced the mayor's plan in a statement on Thursday, saying that a partnership is critical to New York City's success. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but after they voted the city into a mess, yeah, you know what I'm saying? A partnership with someone who is not interested in making a mess in that city probably wouldn't be a bad idea, right? Mayor Adams has made quite clear his willingness to work with President-elect Trump and his incoming administration on behalf of New Yorkers. The mayor looks forward to having a productive conversation with the incoming president on how we can move our city and country forward, a statement read. Friday's meeting took place at the Trump International Golf Course Friday afternoon, according to multiple media reports. Adams or Trump have yet to comment on the details of the meeting. Last month, Trump made it known that he could look at issuing a pardon for Adams, who is facing a federal corruption trial in the spring, Patch previously reported. Adams went against what was happening with the migrants coming in, Trump previously said, and a few months later, he got indicted. So, yeah, I would certainly look at a pardon. Adams faces 1 count of wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy, 2 counts of solicitation of a contribution from a foreign national, and 1 count of bribery, Patch previously reported. Adams received benefits and perks from Turkish officials, including free and discounted airline tickets and hotel accommodations, according to an unsealed indictment. The perks were worth more than $100,000, prosecutors said. Adams has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. When asked by reporters in December, Adams said he is not communicating with the president about a pardon. All right. So, yeah, I think that that's pretty interesting. Me personally, if Adams can get the benefit of a pardon from that, why not? Right? I don't. To me, how many people? Shout out to my man TD. You know, actually, I'm not even gonna say this. I'm not even gonna say anything about this. All I'm gonna say is just make sure you guys check out the Terry Time show that TD is gonna do coming up here pretty soon. All right, and then you guys can ask yourself some questions about what's going on over there. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at the military airplanes that are being used to quote unquote deport the migrants. All right. Now, let me ask you guys this. How many people heard about what happened with Colombia? There's been some tariffs put on Colombia as a result of Colombia not being compliant with getting Colombian nationals returned. If you guys heard about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about that, then give me a thumbs down. Let me see. Give me a second. There we go. I think.
Images coming into CNN shedding light on the speed of President Trump implementing his immigration agenda. The White House has just released these images, migrants lined up, handcuffed, and led onto a military aircraft. We should note CNN cannot independently confirm the details because our crews were not there on the ground when these images were being captured. CNN White House correspondent Priscilla Alvarez is here to talk about this. Priscilla, what are we learning about these flights? And we should note, we were just showing this a few moments ago, those images were tweeted out or posted by the White House press secretary. So this is coming from the White House.
That's right. This is part of their show of force after the president signed his executive order declaring a national emergency at the U.S. southern border. Now, if we can bring the photos up again, because I do want to point out what's different here. It is the use of military aircraft that marks a difference from the way this was handled before. Now, you see there a line of migrants. They are arrested as they, or rather they are handcuffed as they are boarding the plane. That part of this is actually quite typical when it comes to Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the way that they would board one of their deportation flights. But again, what is notable in this image is of that military aircraft. Now, I am getting some details from a Homeland Security official who tells me that it was about 75 to 80 migrants from Guatemala, and they were bound for Guatemala. We are now getting updates from an organization on the ground in Guatemala that is putting out stills of these arrivals. So this story is quickly developing. But in addition to that, we also know they were recent border crossers. So they were in Border Patrol custody and they were in the El Paso sector. Now, the Pentagon has said that they were sending this military aircraft to El Paso and to San Diego. So we'll see if more of these flights continue. But Jim, just to broaden this out a little bit, the situation at the U.S. southern border is relatively quiet, far more than it was even over the last several months. So about 1,100 to 1,300 people crossing a day versus the 4,000, 6,000 and up that we were seeing in recent years. So this is an effort to really clamp down on the U.S. southern border, even as border crossings where they are right now are lower than they were in recent years.
Interesting. All right, Priscilla, stay with me. I want to bring in CNN contributor and New York Times journalist Lulu Garcia-Navarro. Lulu, good to see you. Your reaction to seeing these photos from the White House, they say that are military planes deployed for these deportations. And I guess.
So I guess the question that we really need to ask is when it comes to these military planes and all of this imagery that they're showing, out of all of these people who are on these planes, all of this imagery that's being shown here, how many of these people are legal border crossing migrants? Let me know what you guys think. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media.
One of the things that we should talk about, shouldn't the White House or the administration be giving some kind of access to independent journalists so we can witness this firsthand as opposed to getting these takeouts from the White House?
Yeah, I got to agree with Jay. If you guys agree with Jay, throw some zeros in the chat. If you disagree with Jay, throw whatever number you think the people who are legal, who are on these aircraft are in the chat.
I mean, I think press access for this is going to be very important. But I think
shout out to AW1. What's good with
really
it, bro?
Try and get context and understand what is happening and what is different than what we are seeing before. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, came out with a statement that said that they had arrested 538 people yesterday. And that is about double what we have seen previously. So indeed, we are now seeing stepped up enforcement. There has been some allegations that they are going into private places and not using warrants. That is illegal. So again, is that different? What are we seeing that is actually different? And that's going to be the thing that's going to tell us if this is actually effective, who they're targeting, and where are they targeting people. One of the concerns about this is that they're really going to be targeting people in blue cities and blue states. That is different than what we saw during the first Trump administration, where they were doing raids in North Dakota and red states and rural areas. This seems to be targeted in places that are blue states. So what does that tell us? Does that tell us that this is politically motivated, that they're trying to instill?
Let me ask you this question. Would this tell you that this is politically motivated, or would this tell you that these are the places that have sustained the most damage from these policies? Is it political motivation, or are the people in those areas upset because those areas have sustained the most damage and are under the most financial duress as a result of those policies? Let me know what you guys think.
Fear in immigrant communities in blue areas as opposed to red areas. You know, all of these things, as we're looking at this enforcement operation, we have to really think about what it means and what is the administration actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what took place in Newark, New Jersey in just a few moments. But Lulu, I do want to ask you, the president has ordered the Pentagon to search 1,500 troops to the southern border. We're also seeing these new images of military support away from the border. These are from Camp Pendleton in California. These are from New Mexico, some other images we can show you. And we're now learning that more soldiers are preparing for possible deployment to the border. And so, I mean, Lulu, this is something that, is a bit of a departure from what we've seen in the past, and that this is a very militarized looking deportation operation, mass deportation operation. What do you think?
I mean, this is very unusual. This is not the purview of the United States military. They don't have.
Now, let me ask you this question. What's more unusual? Using the military to secure the border, using military for security, or allowing unrestricted immigration without any vetting to occur? Which one of those is more abnormal?
The training for it. But this is what the Trump administration is doing to try and bolster their capacity to deport people, because they haven't gotten more money from Congress for this. They don't have more ICE agents. And so they're trying to pull in other agencies to get involved in this deportation operation. But this is where I think the Trump administration has to be careful, because, recent polling shows that there's overwhelming support for deportation of illegal immigrants, immigrants that are here that don't have documentation. There's overwhelming support for deporting immigrants who have criminal convictions, but there is not overwhelming support for using the U.S. military. 62% of Americans oppose separating families, something that the administration says that they're going to do. 59% are against using the U.S. military. And so, this is not popular with the American people. So they have to be careful.
Yeah, and Priscilla, you were just saying a few moments ago that the numbers are down right now. So, I mean, I guess just to be a skeptic here, couldn't somebody ask the question, well, why not just use ICE resources here? Is the military being used here as part of a shock and awe sort of propaganda campaign?
Well, to Lulu's point, we have to identify what's different. And the U.S. military on the U.S. southern border is not different. There are already 2,200 active duty troops who are helping support the border mission.
So I guess here's a question, right? If this wasn't popular, how did Trump get elected? How did Trump get elected if this wasn't popular?
And now it's more of a numbers game. So sending more resources down to the U.S. southern border, our understanding is they don't have law enforcement authority. So what they're doing is a lot of assistance when it comes to operational readiness, augmenting air operations, and doing a lot of behind the scenes work when it comes to assessing intelligence. So we do have to discern that there is truth to the fact that the military was already there to assist Border Patrol, because the resources provided by the federal government are strained and over the years have been overwhelmed. But what the Trump administration is doing is putting more of those Pentagon resources there as a show of force, as a show of them clamping down on the southern border. And even if numbers are low, what Trump officials want is for numbers to be zero.
Right. And Lulu, let's play some sound from some migrants who made the journey to the U.S.-Mexico border only to discover it's closed to asylum seekers. Let's listen to that.
¿Qué va a pasar? Me viene y me pregunta qué va a pasar. ¿Qué respuesta le doy yo a mi niño? No tengo ninguna respuesta, porque no sé qué va a pasar con nosotros en la calle.
O sea, con este cierre era la única vía que teníamos de una manera de llegar legalmente hacia los Estados Unidos. Y ahora ha sido completamente en vano el sacrificio que hemos hecho para salir de nuestros países. Hemos tenido que atravesar miles de países para llegar, ¿entiendes? Ha sido un golpe muy, muy, muy duro.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu, this is a reminder of the human toll of all this.
I mean, that is the central reminder of all of this. There are people who have come to this country, and they did come in the right way. They actually followed the guidance of the previous administration. They waited their turn. They put their information into an app. Many of them have come into this country and were given.
Is what she's saying true? If what she's saying is true, give me a thumbs up. If what she's saying is not true, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to everybody that's here. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media.
Parole, that is a legal right that is given by the government to be able to live and work here while asylum claims are being processed. And so they did everything the right way, they think, and yet still they are being penalized for it because of the change in this administration. And that is an enormous human toll.
Now, she said that they're being punished because of a change in the administration, right? So these things that she is saying were done right under the last administration. Weren't those things that were done right changes made by the last administration? So for the most part, what everybody is doing or what is happening to everybody is happening as a result of quote unquote changes to the administration. So what was right at one time may not be right currently. Right?
Well, these are families, these are children.
All right, Priscilla, Lulu, thank you both very much. Appreciate it. In the meantime, several cities are now seeing President Trump's expanding immigration crackdown, as Lulu was just discussing. ICE announced more than 500 arrests just yesterday, some of them in Newark, New Jersey. A restaurant owner there says about a dozen agents demanded to see documentation.
Now, we talked about this yesterday, this particular situation here, right?
Of his employees.
A couple of the guys couldn't show their identification. 3 of them got arrested. 26 years in business, I've never seen anything like this.
Now, Newark's mayor says ICE officers, quote, unlawfully terrorized his city and detained undocumented residents as well as some U.S. citizens. CNN has been unable to independently verify that, but the mayor is expected to speak later on this morning. Joining us now is the former acting director of ICE, John Sandweg. John, I guess what's your take? First of all, I want to ask you about Newark in just a moment, but we were just showing these images coming in from the White House. Of course, we have to remind our viewers these are images provided by the White House of migrants being loaded onto military transport planes. What was your reaction to that when you saw it?
Jim, look, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the administration has essentially declared a war on immigration, not just at the border, but also in the interior. And by that, I mean, through these executive orders, declaring this a foreign invasion, but also harnessing all the resources of the entire U.S. government, not just focusing or relying on the Department of Homeland Security to focus on immigration enforcement here, but pulling on DOD resources, pulling on Department of Justice resources. So look, historically, as Priscilla noted a moment ago, we've seen the military at the border. During the Obama administration, we called on National Guard to supplement the Border Patrol's resources, but they were in a very limited and supportive capacity, primarily providing and enhancing our surveillance capabilities at the border. The use of military transport planes certainly is unprecedented. And I really think this is just the beginning because I think, like was just mentioned, they're just trying to augment ICE resources and DHS resources in order to carry out the mass deportation.
All right, so there's that. All right, there's that. So let's talk about these lawsuits. Actually, let's not talk about the lawsuits yet. Let's actually talk about this most recent thing right here. All right, let's talk about this. How many people heard about this? There's been some tariffs that have been issued. All right. Trump orders tariffs, visa restrictions on Colombia over rejection of deportation flights. All right. So let's just ask this question. Why would Colombia reject these deportation flights of people who are from Colombia? Why would they do that? And here's my question. If people are against these tariffs, my question is, how do people want this enforced? Because there's a lot of people that want this enforced, right? If you want this enforced, give me a thumbs up. If you don't want this enforced, then give me a thumbs down. My question is, if you want this enforced and then you want to be upset about tariffs later on, what is your suggestion of enforcing this? So now here it says, U.S. President Donald Trump said Sunday that he was ordering tariffs, visa restrictions, and other retaliatory measures to be taken against Colombia after its government rejected 2 flights carrying migrants. All right, so my question is, where are these people at now? Where are these people at now that were on this plane? Trump made the announcement on his social media platform, Truth Social. He said the decision of the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, jeopardized national security in the United States. Now, I would go as far as to say the entire migrant crisis is a is a national security threat to the United States. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all would disagree, give me a thumbs down. These measures are just the beginning, Trump wrote. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regards to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States. Earlier Sunday, Petro announced, now see this, Petro announced that his government won't accept flights carrying migrants deported from the U.S. until the Trump administration creates a protocol that, quote unquote, treats them with dignity. All right. I guess here's my question. Are they being treated with dignity or are they not? And what about the United States? If people are just entering the United States undocumented, not respecting the laws that allow for legal entry here, is that treating the people and United States with dignity? Is this a one-way thing here? You know what I'm saying? Petro made the announcement in 2 X posts, one of which included a news video of migrants reportedly deported to Brazil walking on a tarmac with their hands and feet restrained. A migrant is not a criminal and must be treated with dignity that a human being deserves, Petro said. Well, a migrant's not a criminal if they don't break the law to enter the country that they tried to get into, right? I mean, that's that you kind of just can't say what he said. And then if that's the case, then why do they have a problem with them being accepted back into their country? This is why I returned the U.S. military planes that were carrying Colombian migrants. Well, why don't they show people how they feel migrants should be treated? My question would be, if they have all the answers about how people should be treated, why are the people risking their lives and freedom to leave those countries in droves? So much to the fact that they have to be loaded into military transports to be taken back. Right? That's my question. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. The U.S. government didn't immediately respond to a request for comment from the Associated Press regarding the aircraft and protocols used in deportations to Colombia. Petro added that his country would receive Colombians in civilian airplanes and without treatment like criminals. So they got to be flown first class. They got to be flown first class. They're not taking Spirit. You know what I'm saying? As part of a flurry of actions to make good on U.S. President Donald Trump's campaign promises to crack down on illegal immigration, his government is using active duty military personnel to help secure the border and carry out deportations. 2 Air Force C-17 cargo planes carrying migrants removed from the U.S. touched down early Friday in Guatemala. The same day, Honduras received 2 deportation flights carrying a total of 193 people. All right, so, you know, it's going down, right? And, you know, I guess people are not really liking the fact that it's going down. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like people are really liking that. All right. So let's talk about some of these lawsuits. All right. Democrat-led states sue to stop Trump's birthright citizenship order. So this is what the Democrats can do. You know what I'm saying? This is what they can do. People have been voting for them for 60 years for them to not do this for them. But this is what the Democrats will do for people that can't vote for them. So people should kind of reevaluate their actions, right? A coalition of nearly 24 states filed a lawsuit Tuesday against the new Trump administration's challenge to a new Trump administration to challenge the president's executive order ending birthright citizenship for the children of illegal immigrants. All right. The order was one of 42 executive orders signed Monday after Trump was sworn into office as the 47th U.S. president. The president's executive order attempting to rescind birthright citizenship is blatantly unconstitutional and, quite frankly, un-American, said California Attorney General Rob Bonta. All right. Now, how many people agree with that? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't agree with that, give me a thumbs down. The lawsuit argues that Trump's order violates the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees birthright citizenship. All right. The president has no authority to rewrite or nullify a constitutional amendment or duly enacted statute, the lawsuit said, nor is he empowered by any other source of law to limit who receives U.S. citizenship at birth. Conservative groups like the Heritage Foundation argue the 14th Amendment has been twisted and was meant to apply to recently freed slaves and American citizens. Now, if you ask me, why is the Heritage Foundation advocating about that? If you ask me, the fact that the Heritage Foundation has been allowed to attach itself to that narrative, and that narrative was not initially dealt with and isolated by descendants of freed slaves, people need to reevaluate what they've been doing since that law was passed. Now, everybody knows who the Heritage Foundation is and what the Heritage Foundation is. And I want to ask you guys this question. Why is the Heritage Foundation championing that, and that hasn't been already taken care of by descendants of slaves? That's ridiculous. Now you're in the situation where you have to ask yourself the question, what the Heritage Foundation is saying in this particular instance, are they correct? That's the question. Are they correct? Conservative groups like the Heritage Foundation argue the 14th Amendment has been twisted and was meant to apply to recently freed slaves and American citizens. Why is the Heritage Foundation championing that before the voices of descendants of freed American slaves? That's my question. That is something that people need to reevaluate. Because I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm going to just sit up here and be 100% honest. The fact that a WS think tank is taking that and using that to deal with the immigration issue, and we have as many people that have issues with immigration as well, and that hasn't been done, that's irritating. And I want to know why people haven't taken care of that. We got all these brilliant people allegedly out here. All these proactive, allegedly, people. This is something that's brainless and simple, right? Why hasn't it been done? Where's the legal action groups? Where's the law firms? Where's the pro bono law work? Where's the think tank, right? Where is it all at? Where is this stuff? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where it's at. So, again, the question is, in this particular instance, is the Heritage Foundation correct in what they're saying? If they are, give me a thumbs up. If they're not, give me a thumbs down. And if anybody has seen anybody on our behalf in a courtroom arguing this at the Supreme Court level, please give me the names of the people, okay? Because I like to interview them on the channel, right? I want to interview the people who have been in a courtroom advocating to secure this for us. You know what I'm saying? So let me know. Supporters of Trump's action argue that specifically, the Fourth Amendment says that only those, quote unquote, subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. can benefit from birthright citizenship. And since illegal immigrants are citizens of other countries, they don't have the same protections as American citizens. If you ask me, that's a logical argument. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Critics in Democrat-led states around the country say Trump has overstepped his authority. Now, I would go as far as to say that Democrats have overstepped their authority. I would go as far as to say Democrats have overstepped what they look at as jurisdiction, and Democrats have overstepped, they have twisted history to utilize the 14th Amendment for their political means. That's what I would go as far as to say. But who's been standing up to that? The people who should have been standing up to that have been voting to give them power for the last 60 years. You know what I'm saying? The people who should have been standing up for that, taking care of that, have been putting them in office to keep doing it. The people who were supposed to stand up for this and hold it down have been putting gas in the tank at an 80% rate for the last 60 years. You know what I'm saying? If that's true, give me a thumbs up. If that's false, give me a thumbs down. So again, now we got to go back and we got to ask that question. Who does that? Why would you do it? And now everybody is a legal scholar. Everybody got a JD. Everybody got a Juris Doctorate. You know what I'm saying? We are asking a court to immediately block this order from taking effect and ensure that the rights of American-born children impacted by this order remain in effect while litigation proceeds, he added. The president has overstepped his authority by a mile with this order, and we will hold him accountable. Now, if we're going to say that Trump overstepped his authority, right, then to me, it would be fair to say that the people who took this away from being specific to descendants of slaves also overstepped their authority. But again, where are the people in the courtroom arguing that? And if we don't have people in the courtroom arguing that, then what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen is what you're seeing right now. Is everybody happy with what they see right now? If you're happy with what you see right now, don't get too happy. You'll see more stuff hijacked in the future unless people decide to make the necessary changes, right? Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship was one of several orders related to immigration and the southern border. Trump is also sending troops to the border, restarting the Remain in Mexico policy, and reinstating Title 42. Now, Title 42 is important, right? Title 42 is important. Reinstating Title 42, a COVID-era policy that significantly cut down on illegal immigration. Do you guys remember what happened when they cut Title 42? There was a big countdown early in the Biden administration when Title 42 was about to expire, and they said as a result of Title 42 expiring, there would probably be a huge surge in people at the southern border. Does anybody remember that? And there was almost like a countdown-like situation about Title 42. So apparently that's getting reinstated, all right? Trump also immediately shut down the CBP One app, a mobile app that helped speed up migrants' entry into the U.S. Now, it's interesting, right? Since Trump has been in office, you hear more about CBP One than you did the entire time that Biden was in office. But Biden used that app, the Biden administration and the Democrats used that app to facilitate a lot of people entering the country. And then when it would be brought up, they would say that it didn't exist. The states behind the lawsuit are, so here's the states behind the lawsuit: California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, Wisconsin, and the city of San Francisco. Now, here's my question. What do you all think will happen with these what do you think will happen with these lawsuits? Will these states win? Or will the states not win? Let me know what you guys think. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what they got going on in Texas. All right. And Texas said that they're willing to support the Trump mass deportation efforts by any means. All right. So let's see what they're talking about.
President Trump issues executive orders to crack down on people in the country illegally and those seeking asylum. Texas leaders say they're ready to help.
We'll do whatever it takes. We're here to be a good partner. Again, just getting these violent criminals who've been hurting our sons and daughters off of our soil.
We look at the efforts underway now to support new immigration policies. Texas lawmakers lay out their plan to help Texas parents pay for private school. We look at what's in the bill to launch a voucher-like program in the state and the battle ahead at the Capitol.
Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. We got 15 people watching and we got 14 likes. We're on the 1-to-1 ratio. Make sure you guys throw 100s in the chat. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, we need one more to be on a perfect 1-to-1. So please smash the like button. Also, let's try to get the likes to 30. So please share the stream to your social media. All right. If you're not subscribed and you're watching, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel.
The future of AI is taking shape in the heart of Texas.
We want that technology to grow, to expand. We want that innovation to happen here in Texas.
Oh, we better, hey, shout out to AB Promotions. We better shut this off. They mentioned AI. They mentioned AI. Shout out to Dre D. What's good with it, bro? I appreciate you.
And it is. As President Trump announces hundreds of billions of dollars in investment, we look at how state lawmakers are preparing for changes that could reshape the future of our state and nation.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Hours after President Donald Trump took the oath of office, his policies started to affect migrants seeking asylum in the United States. Trump shut down the app that thousands of migrants used to schedule appointments to have their asylum requests considered. Migrants who showed up at the port of entry in El Paso for their appointments Monday got turned away. Buses used by Immigration and Customs Enforcement continue to drop people off at ports of entry and escort them back into Mexico. That is routine, however, and it's not clear if there is an increase. Our reporters along the border say there appears to be a decrease in the number of people arriving on the Mexican side of the border attempting to cross into Texas.
So let me ask you guys this question. Why is there a decrease in people coming into the United States on the Mexican side? What's going on that's causing this decrease?
Meanwhile, in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso, Mexican authorities are building giant tent shelters to prepare for an anticipated influx of deportations. The temporary shelters will have the capacity to house thousands of people. The Texas Land Commissioner says the state is eager to help President Trump tighten the southern border. She outlines some of the steps underway as the new White House sets its plan in motion.
He was a very popular governor, but now he's like an unbeatable governor because of your border policies. He was fantastic.
On the day he was sworn into office, President Trump raised Texas Governor Greg Abbott's border security policies and vowed Texas would have support from Washington. He then signed 10 executive orders on the topic Monday, including declaring a national emergency at the southern border, sending troops to the region, and resuming border wall construction. All steps that Governor Abbott has taken over the last 4 years through his $11 billion border security plan, Operation Lone Star.
Now we'll have even more tools at our disposal.
Texas Land.
Now, real quick, right? We're going to talk about this eventually, but I want to show you guys this. All right. When it comes to what's going on in Texas, right? Because we talked about Operation Lone Star. Operation Lone Star, for the most part, cost $11 billion. All right. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is asking Congress for $11 billion to cover his border crackdown under Biden. Now, let me ask you guys this. How do you guys feel about this? Do you all think that Texas should get this $11 billion? If you feel that Texas should get this $11 billion, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think that they should get it, then give me a thumbs down. Governor Greg Abbott wants the federal government to reimburse Texas $11 billion after the state has poured this amount into his border security crackdown over the last 3 years, including costs Texas racked up from busing migrants to Democrat-led cities across the country. All right, so if you guys recall, when they were putting up that border wall and when they were putting up the barbed wire and the buoys, the Biden administration would go down there and cut them down. You guys remember that? The Texas Republican wrote in a letter to congressional leaders Thursday that he launched Operation Lone Star to, quote unquote, protect all Americans as border crossings rose rapidly during President Joe Biden's administration, eventually reaching record levels. All right. Abbott wrote that the state had spent almost $3 billion to build 100 miles of border wall and deploy a string of buoys in the Rio Grande. Texas spent $58 million on razor wire and fencing, and the state spent nearly $6 billion to deploy 10,000 National Guard troopers and hundreds of state troopers. All right. Texas also paid for nearly 2,700 bus trips and flights to transport migrants out of the state, Abbott wrote. His letter did not say how much the state spent on the endeavor, which overwhelmed some Democrat-led cities, right? Now, it overwhelmed some Democrat-led cities, but these cities claimed that they were sanctuary cities and that they were equipped to deal with this, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Ty Valentine. What's good with it, bro? Put pressure on the Biden administration to restrict asylum and served as a boon to now President Donald Trump's campaign to retake the White House. The costs, Abbott wrote, fell squarely on the shoulders of Texas taxpayers, but should have been the federal government's responsibility. The burden that our state bore is a direct result of a refusal by the federal government to do its job, Abbott wrote. That work that Texas has done through Operation Lone Star has protected and will continue to benefit the entire country. All right. Abbott sent the letter to Republican and Democratic leaders in the House and Senate, both of which are now controlled by the GOP. He also sent a copy to members of the Texas delegation. Lawmakers in Congress are working to pass government spending bills in the coming months. Texas Republicans in the past have vowed to vote against spending bills that did not send money to Texas to reimburse the state for OLS costs, Operation Lone Star costs. And U.S. Representative Dan Crenshaw, a Houston Republican, said he wants the reimbursement added to any big tax cut bill passed this year by Congress. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many of you all think that Texas will be able to achieve this the way that the government is now? If you guys think that they'll be able to get this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, then give me a thumbs down. All right. Abbott's request comes as both Republican budget writers in the Texas House and Senate plan to spend billions over the next 2 years on border security. Texas officials have said they expect the Trump administration to contribute to border security going forward, but they haven't said whether they expect reimbursement for those costs. All right. Trump going to reimburse them in Bitcoin. Trump going to reimburse them in Bitcoin, and then they're going to use that for their Texas Bitcoin strategic reserve. You know what I'm saying? And then people really going to be mad. Abbott said late last year that Texas would consider allocating its border funding and other priorities with Donald Trump returning to the White House. According to a budget breakdown of Operation Lone Star that Abbott included with the letter, personnel costs for Department of Public Safety troopers alone reached $2.25 billion, a staggering amount for an agency with only about 5,000 troops total. Troopers deployed to the border under Operation Lone Star have been patrolling the Rio Grande and arresting migrants on trespassing and other state charges. Over the last 3 years, they have racked up millions in overtime and packed hotels along the border for months on end. According to Abbott's letter, they have made over 50,000 criminal arrests and seized over $500 million in lethal doses of fentanyl. The Border Security Initiative has been controversial. In 2023, Hearst newspapers revealed disturbing accounts from a state trooper who reported inhumane treatment of migrants, including young children, and warned that the state's actions would lead to more migrant drownings. DPS investigated the complaints and found no wrongdoing, though the agency's inspector general found that most of the incidents raised by the troopers did happen. All right, so that's interesting. Most of the incidents raised by the troopers did happen, but they found no wrongdoing. How can both of those be, true at the same time? You know what I'm saying? The state's actions, including stringing miles of razor wire along the Rio Grande, separating some families by detaining fathers on trespassing charges, and denying water to some migrants, also inflamed tensions with the Biden administration officials who said Texas was obstructing Border Patrol agents and endangering lives. All right. So, again, my question for people is, how do people feel about what Texas has done? And do you all feel that Texas deserves to be reimbursed? If you do, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. So when they talk about what's going on in Texas and quote unquote the money being spent in Texas, that's what they're talking about, just to summarize.
And Commissioner Don Buckingham says the state plans to help in any way, beginning with offering the Trump administration about 1,400 acres of land to help with mass deportations.
We'll do whatever it takes. We're here to be a good partner. Again, just getting these violent criminals who've been hurting our sons and daughters off of our soil.
But these efforts come at a cost to Texas taxpayers, which Buckingham hopes the federal government can help cover.
Texas would like some reimbursement, especially for our efforts building the wall.
U.S. Senator John Cornyn is backing the push for reimbursement. In a statement Thursday, he wrote, "I will fight to include funds in Congress's reconciliation legislation to reimburse Texas for its historic efforts to secure the border." Buckingham says no matter what, Texas won't back down and is looking forward to sharing the fight with the White House.
We do look forward to passing a baton to our happy federal partner, hopefully Texas.
Yeah, I got to agree with Tedra. And I've talked about this. If you guys agree with Tedra, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Tedra says the parents should also be charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
Will have to spend a lot less in the future as these policies change, these lures that bring people here. And so we're excited. We think Trump is off to an incredibly strong start.
We want to go now in depth to what's going on the border since the inauguration. Sandra Sanchez from Border Report joins us now from McAllen near the border. Sandra, what are you seeing there in terms of how Customs and Border Protection is responding with the new administrations and their presence in the communities?
Hi, Josh. Yeah, I'm here at the McAllen Hidalgo Reynosa International Bridge. And this is where deportations happen. But I can tell you what I saw Trump's very first full day in office at the Gateway International Bridge, which is about 60 miles from here in Brownsville, leading to Matamoros, Mexico. There was almost 20 CBP officers in full riot gear on the street with face shields and batons marching towards that bridge, went on the bridge, shut the bridge down, told local people who were around they had to leave. Now, this is called a hardening exercise when you shut down the bridge, and that's something that CBP officials have always done. But what we have not seen since the first Trump administration is this very public show of forces in the street. I mean, they marched for a couple blocks.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Why do you think that they're doing this, as she says, quote unquote, public show of force? All of these are tactics. All of these are strategies. Why do you think that they're being done?
And, you know, people told me that was very intimidating. It was like militarization, and they were very upset about it. And they were asking, very vocal about, is this going to happen for the next 4 years? In addition, I can tell you that locally, Border Patrol officials are now using the term alien when they talk to us about undocumented migrants. As you know, during the Biden administration, they changed that lingo to.
Now, here's another question. What's the problem with the use of the quote unquote word or the quote unquote use of the quote unquote terminology alien? I want you guys to pay attention to how she kind of focused on that, because I think that's pretty important. So what's wrong with that? They have a problem with the use of the word quote unquote alien.
To undocumented migrants. Trump has changed it back to alien, and so they're calling them criminal aliens if they cross illegally.
Sandra, how might enforcement change based on President Trump's executive orders against undocumented immigrants?
Here at the bridge, this is the central epicenter point for deportations. Now, it doesn't look like much, and the reason for that is because the deportations are all being done inside the bridge. The Border Patrol agents are not driving them over by buses, which is what you see in San Diego and El Paso. Here, they are physically walking them to the middle of the bridge, handing them over to Border Patrol. Border Patrol's handing them over mid-bridge to Mexican officials and exchanging them. In effect, they're calling them repatriations. Now, we've always had repatriations here. However, we are expecting that as the deportations increase, the activity here will increase. I have asked to get in and to see it. They're not letting us in yet, but as soon as we get that, we'll share that footage with you.
With former Texas Border Czar Mike Banks named new chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, will we see more coordination between the state and the federal government on border wall construction and other activities?
Yeah, I absolutely expect to see that. As you mentioned earlier, the land has been offered by Texas to host these deportation facilities. Banks was a former Border Patrol agent himself. He's familiar with the office. It's interesting that he's been elevated to now head it nationally. Trump and Governor Abbott have a close relationship that's very publicly known. this past week, Governor Abbott asked for $11 billion back in reimbursement that Texas has spent on Operation Lone Star, on border security initiatives.
So again, right, does Texas deserve the $11 billion reimbursement? If they do, give me a thumbs up. If they don't, give me a thumbs down. Do you guys think that they deserve this reimbursement or no?
I was in Eagle Pass last month, and Governor Abbott, I talked to him. I asked him the question about Texas's involvement. He said, we'd like to build the wall for the federal government. And I learned there's wall going up in Western Starr County. Question right now is that federal? Is that state? At some point, we might not be able to tell.
All right, a lot to follow. Sandra Sanchez from Border Report, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, so there's that. All right, so I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, I thought that was pretty interesting. All right. So, like I said, it was going to be a lot of information real quick, and there it is. So if you missed it, you got to replay. All right. Shout out to everybody that came through. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, do me a favor, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and hit that bell. Shout out to my man, AB Promotion. My man, AB Promotions, threw the stream on his back. You know what I'm saying? He was the 1 out of 10. Shout out to you, bro. Make sure y'all show AB some love. Definitely appreciate you being the stream sponsor. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,